Today is the day when we shall discuss your IELTS listening task. And if this file is visible to everybody, you can have a look. We are actually going to talk about the first section, what you will face in the IELTS test. And this is this one. Listening test, 4 sections, 40 items approximately, and total time duration is 30 minutes. Right? So these days, even you can go for computer based test. So the time limit will be 30 minutes, 25 to 30 minutes, maximum 2 minutes you will get at the end of the test. While for your paper pen and paper based test, you will get 10 minutes extra to transfer your answers to your main answer sheet. Now the main answer sheet which you will get during the exam. So while doing the test, you can actually scribble the answers on the main question booklet, and then you will during the test 25 to 35 minutes it will last, and then after that completion of the test you will get 10 extra minutes to transfer your answers. So that is first thing. Now if you can look at the test, you will get, like, there will be 4 sections, and your 40 questions, 40 items, as they say, they would be spread over these 4 sections. So if you can have a look, in each section would have around 10 questions. Okay. And as and when you move from one section to the next, the difficulty level will increase. Also, you have these sections covered on the basis of, let's say section 1, you would have a discussion going on between two people, or maybe more than two people. Here basically you would take down the information. You have exercises such as notes, taking down, filling the tables, right? You may get MCQs, and right. So more or less you would know that the information is going to come. You will have proper time. So basically, the first section will be based on discussion, while the second one will be a monologue, where you will have a particular speaker talking about a particular subject. And yes, as I said earlier, that as you will move forward, you will get the difficulty level increasing, right? And your third section and fourth section again would be a discussion section and a monologue, respectively. So that is the second thing. If you talk about the types of questions, you would get, the note taking exercise in the first section. You will have to fill tables, right? You may get to label diagrams. You may get to label maps. So remember, you precisely identify the information, or you can take down the information according to the categories. At times they may give you numbers, at times they may give you name. So numbers and names mostly are repeated in order to be clear in pronunciation. So you will get quite a lot of time to answer the questions for the first section. Having said that, you will also get around 30 seconds time before you start the test, and 30 seconds time once you finish sections, right? So maybe in the section 1 you may get two breaks. So the whole section 1 would be divided into two parts. As you can see here, questions from 1 to 6, and then questions from 7 to 10. What I was trying to say is that you would get 30 seconds time duration to have a look at questions from 1 to 6, and once you have solved these 6 questions, you will still get 30 seconds to back at the answers, and then again 30 seconds for looking at questions from 7 to 10, and likewise the cycle will go on. All right, so that is the other thing. Now, you remember, here you got to be careful of things, because sometimes they may, the pronunciation, you have to be careful of pronunciation. So let's say if your answer is supposed to be buses, so you got to be clear that you need to put plural, right? Buses. If you put bus instead of buses, it will be a wrong answer. However, articles and determiners may be avoided, or may be ignored in the exam. So there is not much role of articles and determiners. For example, instead of bus, you may write the bus, then it should be all right. Okay, a bus, it should be all right. It should fall in context according to the sentence you should answer. Even at the same time, for all the sections like reading section, speaking section, and writing sections, I have told you the importance of instructions. In the same manner, you have instructions here as well, which are really important. So if you look at the instruction here, it says write one word for each answer. So the main limit to write the answer is one word only. So remember, if it is this case, then writing a bus or the bus or things like that would not help you. So be careful of this. If you need to write a certain time, or if you need to write certain units, let's say 10 rupees or $10, so in that case, even if you write 10, or even if you make a dollar symbol, it is acceptable, right? So likewise, I mean, you should understand that you have answered in context. At times, for example, the maybe the dollar sign or the pound sign or the rupee sign could be there. If even if it is there, you put you in your answer. If you even if you put your answer as $10, 10 rupee, or £10, it is acceptable. Even no matter if the instruction says one word. So that is the conditions for section one, or maybe you can say for the complete test, right? And then if you move further, you see the other instruction, which is write one word and or a number. So here the probability of your answer could be one word answer, it could be one number, as well as one word plus one number. So remember, three entities can be your answer. Accordingly, the maximum, right? Maybe minimum only one word or only one number can be your answer. So just be careful with that. And yeah, remember, as I said earlier also, if you once you reach section 2, you will see the difficulty level increasing. You see the instructions here. Choose two letters, A and E. Some people, they may get confused, and then they may only put one alphabet as the answer, or instead of the alphabet they may also put the whole text as the answer. So be careful. You just have to use letters from A to E, and you have two letters to select from. So some such questions are combined questions. So just be careful of those. I've seen lot many students doing mistakes in this case, right? Now look at subsection of section 2. Now here you have back-to-back questions from 13 to 14, 15, 16, like that. So frequency of questions has also increased. So remember, the difficulty level will keep on increasing. Now here there are strategies people apply. So if you are looking or listening to the information very very carefully, you have to remember that you also need to, you can make notes, or you can write things on your question booklet as well. So if you find fill in the blanks task difficult, looking at the section, the subsection of section 2, you can see the fill in the blanks here. Now in most of the cases, you can make you can note down the information that is coming to you, because you need to be thoroughly focused. You can't just get distracted, because once you've lost your focus, maybe two to three answers in forthcoming answers you may lose. So just keep writing something. If you don't think that is not going to be the answer, or if you're doubtful, or at least just be like be just keep following the track. And also there are chances when you come across, maybe in the audio it may say the person was given an award, but here you have to write the person was awarded. So maybe 1% chance is there that you may have to write the answer according to the context. You might have to change the form of the word. Okay. So words like slow, slowly. So likewise you have to work out. So adverb, adjectives, and things you have to sort out. Some at times I'm saying only 1% chances are there. Now if you look at section 3, remember, if when you jump from sections to subsections, or subsections to sections, you will get 30 seconds to look back at your answers and 30 seconds to look at the forthcoming questions. Now, it may sound comfortable, but for questions such as MCQs, it is not that comfortable. Let me know those guys, those students who have scored really good in MCQs, but there are a lot many students who find these MCQs troublesome. Now, there are two strategies doing this MCQs. The first one is you just follow the style, you just follow the audio, you just keep doing the things, because when I say you just keep doing the things, it means that you're doing multitasking. You're listening to the recording, you're looking, you also have read the questions already, and then you will try to figure out correct answer from the three options. So this is a typical approach. Now I may say this is typical approach because some people are good at it, some people are not. So obviously the scoring depends on that. Now the second strategy is your own strategy or my strategy. It could be anything. For example, let's say if you find these MCQs difficult, you just have to remember that you can apply strategies. First would be, if you have two to three or four MCQs, right? The moment they'll give you 30 seconds to read the questions, you read the questions, try to remember them, and then for 3 to 4 questions only, I'm saying, just listen to the audio carefully. You need not look at the options. This is one strategy I've practiced. I find it beneficial, but for just 3 to 4 to 5 questions maximum, right? You listen to the whole recording, and at the end, when you get 30 seconds to look back at your answer, all the time, whatever time you get to, when you have realized that, okay, this is done for me, now I can fix the answers, then you can just get back to the question and try to sort out the answer. This works. I've seen that. Now the other thing, when you don't get 5 questions, you get 6 to 7 questions, or more than that, or equal to the numbers. Then obviously you have to keep listening to the recording, because that is the only source of your answer. Now just be careful with that. Some people, they may erase, or they may not, they just skip reading option A. They just focus on option B and C. I've seen, like, in a lot many circumstances, only answers are they come from options B and C. Very rarely A is termed as the answer, or is given as the answer. So that is one thing, but it is, I'm not saying it is mandatory or it is important or nothing. It is just the way I've practiced it, the way I've been doing since 2008. I've suggested you. Okay. Now you have, uh, again, this sentence completion exercise, one word answer only. And you have section 4, which is again one word. So whatever I've told you about the 1% chances of getting to change the form of the word according to the context of the sentence, you remember that, because in section 4 it may happen, or in exercises where you have to complete the sentences, it will definitely happen. Especially for section 4, you can see that there are no subsections, right? You may get or may not get any breaks in the middle. In the beginning of the section 4, you get 30 seconds to look at questions from 31 to 40, and at the end you get some time to look back at your answers. While in the middle, I'm sure you won't be getting no extra time to look at the questions or look back at the answers. Okay, so this is all about your listening test. Let me just about this standard IELTS Cambridge listening test. I do have some material from the IDP Australia, which is again an alibi, the sister concern of your IELTS. They do provide certain books where you have difficult structures to go through. So if you want to have a look, you can have a look here. There are complex questions. You can get these days, a lot many MCQs are the part of your question, and lot many complex MCQs are also there. So the idea is, so let's say if you join the classes, if you have the sessions, if you get a chance to get sessions through me, I will be, if I once know that your level is already 6.5 or 7 in listening, I have strategies, I have tests which will enable you to score 8 plus, right? So I'm not saying actually embossing that, okay, or I'm just not forcing that I have all this thing. This is there, Cambridge has provided all of the material. It is just the thing that I have arranged it myself, and I have prepared it in a way that you can, when you practice it deliberately, you will be scoring good. Now have a look at this section 2 here from the IELTS General Upgrade IDP, practice books. So here what you can see is, the question says, label the chart below, write the correct letter A to E next to questions 11 to 13. Now let's say some information is going on, and then that some information is related to question number 11, online sales department. Now that whatever information is running, it will be focusing on online sales department, as well as it will be talking about this figure here, the bar graph. So you might have to notice that, okay, what information you have to write, whether it is you have to compare the information, or you have to just identify it in a way. But yes, the answers could not be in sequence, they may not be in sequence. You might have to figure out that at times they might give answers for 12 or maybe 13 question, and then you might have to get back to understand the answer for number 11. So here some information is running which could be related to questions 11, 12, 13, and you have to, by understanding the information from the audio, you have to select the answers from the graph, right? So I consider them as complex MCQs, or multitasking questions. Remember, this is just in a small area. Maybe my convincing power could be less, but you just have to focus on question, this structure what I'm showing. Maybe, right? So the idea is to expose yourself to such difficult tasks, so that standard Cambridge tests come easy to you. Okay. Now look at this flow plan. Now, around 9 out of 10 students, they've struggled in this solving such questions. Now here what happens is that when the recording begins, it will give you an idea from where to start. Now here they're asking you to locate or label the places, okay, or yeah, just label the places or identify the places. So from 14 to 20, you have around 6 to 7 questions, right? And then you have to locate where which particular thing lies. Now the words like around, close to, adjacent to, opposite, right, next corner, right corner, bottom, right, or the this area or that area. Such words may not may not be friendly with. So yes, when we expose ourselves to such recordings, such audios, it will come easy for us. So I'm sure with this, because I've practiced this thing on a lot many students, and then they have actually given me reviews where they have clearly told that yes, because of practicing such tests only, they have enhanced your score to 8.5 band. Most of them have scored 9 as well, right? So remember that. So yes, when in our sessions we'll be practicing all these difficult questions as well. I have a few recordings from which we can you can say that those recordings can be the part of your coming test as well. So there are certain sections, there are chances that they may get repeated. I'm not guaranteeing it, but yes, I have seen one or two sections, there are chances that they can be repeated. Okay, now look at the this section here. It's just a particular uh, diagram or a map, you can say, and you have to again label it. Now they've made it quite complex, right? You may have to practice it number of times to get it correct. So remember, here the only source of information is the recording, and once you know that the recording only is there for your answers, you have to focus a lot. If you can focus a lot, you will definitely get the answers, right? So in our session, we'll be practicing how to fix such question which turns out difficult to students, especially MCQs, section 4, and multitasking exercises, complex MCQs, and then labeling the diagrams. Okay, so this is what for your speaking task. Remember, the answer sheets will be provided to you separately. So on that particular answer sheet, you have to put down your answers, and you will get 10 minutes extra when you are in the test. Once the test is done, you will get that 10 minutes time to transfer the answers. Just be careful while you transfer the answers, because I know lot many people when are in rush, they would just scribble the answers on the question booklet, and then while transferring the answer, they may incorrectly write the spelling of the words or the answers. So just be careful with that. Now this is how your sheet looks like. This is your listening answer sheet. So in the exam, you will get printed, copy of this. And you have to write down the candidate number, test date, and all those things, and then write the answers. So be careful while transferring the answers. For example, some people may write pen, and in rush they may write pen, which seems like pin, and while transferring, they will just transfer pin as the answer. So likewise, you have to be careful. There are several strategies as well. Just those can be shared with you while in the session, right? So I'll just say thank you to you and stop here. And if you have any questions, let me know, and I'll be really happy to help you out. Please subscribe my videos and let me know how was it.